Are you listening?
Hi guys, it's that time again, session 6 of the next level challenge. I'm super excited for today's session, like I am for every session. Why is that? Because we are going to dive deeper into the dual dream. Now, if you were here for session 5, or if you caught it, you would know that I had the honor of speaking to a pro footballer on how he lives out his dual dream. Now, for today, I've invited two guest that I've had the fortune and the privilege of learning from, both as a football player and as a friend and as a man. So with me today, I have on my immediate left is Grant Coetzee. He's a financial consultant. And then on my far left is Ian Taylor. He's a professional football coach. So I'll be speaking to them guys about how this deal really looks, feels, and how you can make it happen for yourself. Let's go. Ian, Grant, how are you guys doing? Very good, thank you. Thank you for inviting us. Good to be back. Yeah. So Ian, you've just come back from Egypt now. Successful time there. You've been there for the past year. You were the under 19 team of Z FC League champs, by the way. So yeah, how was that experience?
Yeah, it's great to go abroad and experience a different football culture, different culture, and it's a big challenge. And you know me, I like the challenge. So it's been successful on the field, but also I think it's very successful off the field and personally. You know, the growth.
Yeah.
You learn such a lot in these environments. So I'm very excited to share.
Yeah. Nice. So you've now been in Egypt for a season. Back here at home, you've been with Ajax, obviously. Um, Cape Town City. Abroad, you've been in China with Ajax Amsterdam's branch there.
Yeah.
So what the obstacles for you now that you are in Egypt this past year?
Well, I think from a structural organizational point of view, the club's still new, so we're 4 years old. There's still a lot of work to be done from an organization perspective.
Mm.
And then just the culture, you know, the culture they're trying to create in the club is still very far away in terms of developing players. This emphasis in Egypt is a lot on winning. There hasn't been a lot of investment in individual development. And, you know, Egypt has a great history of football, big football culture, and they've been doing things over the years the way they've been doing it. And now these bunch of foreigners come in, I think they know everything. And of course, there's a lot of give and take, and you need to find a way to open their minds and let them see what it can be like. And that's the hardest part because you've got to entrench yourself in there, and you've got to build relationships. You've got to communicate, even though you speak a different language. You've got to go in every day with the right attitude, and you're there to equip to help. So, yeah, it hasn't been easy, but it's been very fulfilling.
Yeah. Anyway, I think you've also done, I don't think the most perfect way is that you've actually won the league. So I think now they will be all ears to hear and open up their hearts and their minds to you. Yes, no?
I've been doing a lot of praying over the last few months because it is that you can come with this amazing philosophy and got a history of developing players, but it actually means nothing if the fruits are not there. And for them, the fruits is winning. So you need to find the balance between winning and developing, and that is not easy. So we managed to get it over the line. Luckily, we had a lot of talented players. So it's made my job a little bit easier. But yeah, it was a massive challenge. It was every day. It was relentless going in and emphasizing on the same things every day, and eventually the people around me saw what it's about. And of course, they're happier because we won, but there was a little bit of win on that side in terms of trying to change their mindset.
Okay, no, good, nice, man. That sounds awesome. Grant, I'll come to you. So, guys, for those of you that don't know, Grant and myself know each other since childhood. So we've been on a journey, right? We have seen each other grow up. We've had a 20-year break, I think it was, a 20-year break from each other. But when I wouldn't say break from each other, just life, pause. But when we reconnected, and I found out what Grant does, it was like a godsend, because he serves people in decent space, which is the financial space. Now, in football, in sports in South Africa, you always hear this players lack financial education. Players lack financial literacy. Well, I have someone here that throughout his past year or two, right, maybe 2 years now, maybe he doesn't know this, but I've learned a lot from him. How he handles himself. He has a family. I have a family. He's a financial advisor. I'm horrible at that, I admit. So, learning from a friend of mine who has become a mentor of mine as well. So, in Ian, it's just amazing. So, Grant, just share with us your technical experiences in a life. How is it brought you to this point?
Yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, ultimately I knew from a young age during our journey, one thing about Nathan, he always said he wanted to become a professional player. So I was privileged to play with him before he became a professional player. I knew I was not going to be good enough. So I then sort of deviated and focused on how am I going to make a success of my life. Coming from Athlone and Overpark, our parents didn't educate us about finances because their parents didn't educate them. So I really needed to interact with people and got to a point where I asked people, listen, successful people, I want to learn from you. I think I was at 17 years old, and they said, sure. And I started shadowing people day by day, what they are doing, the questions they ask. And cut a long story short, started studying after I matriculated 99 and went into the sales industry. But very soon I thought, this is not for me. And then fast back to 2003, I got a massive job promotion from a middle level management job to a senior level management. Now you are blessed with a good job, good benefits, company car allowance, a good salary. And I then thought, okay, I'm going to go and seek financial advice. That was the best decision I made because ultimately I went to my parents. My parents said to me, "Hey, can you help me? I can't help you because they don't have an experience in that." I then called a friend, and they then introduced me to at the time, a mutual financial advisor. And he then commended me. At the time, he was 10 years older than me, but this guy he was sorted in that. I mean, 10 years older than me. He was at his third property already. And I said, that's what I want. I don't have the experience, but that's what I want. And he says, you know what? You're starting at the right time. At the time, I was about 23 years old. And he said to me, a lot of guys, and without sounding racist, he says, a lot of colored oaks will buy the GTI first and then the house. And I said, spot on. Not a football. And that is the problem. Without knowing me, and not knowing that the GTI was my first car. Not knowing me, right? He was a puppy. And I was like blown away by it. But he said to me, listen, let us try and work a journey together, walk a journey. And he then sort of indirectly recruited me and he said to me, you now a senior manager, how much staff are you responsible for? I said 30. And he says, let me give you a sort of a goal. Try to sell 59 policies to all the staff members, regardless of what they're earning. Just tell them, it's investment. I actually forced them to then, I said to them, because I had the power, I said, I will then pay you incentive. From the incentive, it will be an investment, but you're not going to feel it financially because I've got control over that. And that was the part that like I said, I think the Lord sort of initiated something, about something new where I thought, hey, this is quite fulfilling. He's trying to help our people at the time, not necessarily getting the foundation, but at least I can assist them over and above what I can do. And then fast track into, call it 2 years later, I then said, I never had a lot of commitments. I wasn't married then. I didn't have kids. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go all in. Leave what I'm currently doing and going to the financial services. And that was in 2005. And ultimately, actually ended up working at Old Mutual. And then sort of selling retirement annuities and investments. But that's when it opened my eyes, where, you mentioned the words being open minded in football. You need to be open minded in life. So it was about what do you want to achieve in your life? Simple question, very hard to answer. So, what is it that you want to achieve? And they really tell you, so you come with a question, they ask you the question, you come with an answer. The next week they say again, think about the question and come back with another answer. Eventually you realize you've got 10 different answers for the same question. And they said all of that is possible, but you need to have a plan. Regardless of what goal you have, you need to have a plan. And sometimes the plan is not just saving, the plan is knowing where you want to be in life. That is it. Right? So if you're not in a financial space right now, let us work towards the plan to get there. So ultimately I got back 3 years. I was the reason why we sort of weren't in contact is because I moved to Johannesburg in 2007. And it was just work, work, work. And I got back in 2001 and then we started engaging again. And we then realized I think the three of us realized that we're doing something similar in different spaces, but we're serving people. We are serving people, right? And it's about how do we give people the platform to engage us, learn from our mistakes, but also advise them in our special skills. So ultimately, it's about youngsters, and I've met a few professional footballers that didn't know that there's benefits. What if your kid gets injured? There's an income protection plan that kicks in when they get injured. Something simple like that. Instead of buying your fancy car first, set realistic investment goals. But they don't do it because they were never exposed to it. So it's about this platform where if a player just needs someone to speak to, we are here to assist them.
Good, awesome stuff, man. I was about to stop you and say, hey, you know, with juice, it's also okay, speaking about guys, we obviously, I love what you just shared, and Ian, we all have the heart to serve people in our sphere, in our space. So speaking about the football space, and especially the dual dream, okay. So for this past, few sessions, I've been speaking about being UNF. In order for us to have what Grant's speaking about, what Ian is speaking about, we have to do things. We have to take action. But in order to do those things, we have to become the person that can do it. Okay. So within that thought, I'm gonna ask my guests first of all on the being part. Now, being for me means that in order for us to go on the journey, there has to be an area in our lives that we have to improve in this. Because if we knew everything, if we were perfect beings, then we wouldn't need to go on this journey. We just done things right. Okay. So being is I'm speaking about voids. What voids in their experience have they seen, in their sphere? So Ian, I'll start with you, according to your experiences of wherever you've been as coach. And guys, in my view, Ian is one of the best, if not the best development coach of a young pro football. Right? Because I've worked with Ian, I've played under Ian, and I've seen how he works with players, not only as a coach but as a man. Coach, your
We always talk about holistic development, and I think there's a serious. I don't want to, let's be more positive. I think clubs out there can do things a lot better in terms of developing a professional player holistically. We always look at the football part, the technical part, the tactical part, the decision making, and all those things. But there's a serious lack of investing in character development, uh, letting the players know who they are first as a person, knowing their identity, and building their career out of who they know they are and what their strengths are. So there's no real investment, Nathan, in this part. And I think this is why you're doing this, is because to make parents and players and coaches and even clubs and leaders within the clubs aware of how we can assist players in becoming better men before the footballer. Um, I've had the privilege of working at IS Cape Town when I started my career, and in terms of holistic development, they covered pretty much all the angles, but still lacked in this area, still lacked in developing the human. And the investment was all in the other things. And to be honest, I think we set a lot of players up to fail. And that's why they don't know what to do with their money. Some of them sitting painting houses and unemployed, and that's a failure. So to be more positive, I think clubs can do a lot more. I don't want to harp on what they're not doing. They can really do a lot more in assisting the players.
good, nice work. Grant, in your view and in your experience, or having worked with, young sportsmen, young men, young women, especially in the business sense, what would you say are the avoids that you have experienced, especially in the football players, maybe, and the sportsmen?
Yeah. Again, so like in something you mentioned was the character part. Very very uncomfortable speaking about finance. Very uncomfortable because they've never had the chat before, either from their parents. A lot of them come from single homes, so they didn't have a mentor to have the discussion. So they would always ask me where to start, and I would say to them something as simple as budget. Do you know what you're getting in? Yes, they can say yes. I'll say, do you know what you're spending it on? And the answer is no. So it's about starting from the basics about you know what is coming in. Let's control what is going out, and then ultimately let's work on what your plan B is. So I always encourage them to not just say it, but make them aware that look, I'm the guy that is brutally honest to say there's chances that you might not become a professional player. So let's work on their plan B. A lot of the professional players don't have a matric. So let's focus on the education part because trust me, if something does happen and you don't have a matric certificate, then it's even harder to get a job. So it's about that we are installed just getting the bare minimum matric, and if you can go further. What I do find is a lot of footballers after their professional career they come back 25, 26 years old, then they go and study. They could have done it during, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those are the things that I try to encourage.
Nice, and that's exactly what we speak about the due dream. You see, it's just to add on, guys, what you have shared. A lot of what our footballers believe, comes from culture. It comes from upbringing. And I always say this: as well intentioned and as sincere as our parents and our elderly and those that advise us when we were at school, as well intentioned as they are, they have also been led down a certain path. And this is why we have to have these uncomfortable conversations, not because we want to highlight what has happened in the past, but because we want to show in the future that can happen at this moment in time. You see that with footballers, especially, there's always been this afterthought talk. Let's plan for the afterthought. Let's plan for if plan A don't work, like you mentioned, what is plan B? Well, we are in a day and age where you don't have to have plan A and plan B. You can have plan 8.1 and plan 8.2. Because if you know how to use your off the field skill set, which can be studies, can be because guys, we all know that with tech, with all the options which young people have, they can start a business that puts them in line to earn more than what they earn playing sports if they know how. Yeah, because here's one thing which I will say openly: we haven't been taught how to use our time well. That's a fact. So that thought of planet really begins to throw us completely out because we view time in a completely wrong, viewpoint, right? Whereas I'll give you this quick example. Footballers, on average, if you are pro players, spend 5 hours a day maybe at your job on the field. 5 hours, let's say 5 hours. On average, you should be sleeping between 7 and 9 hours at night, which leaves you between, let's say, 13 and 14 hours blocked out already for sleep and for work. You have 24 hours in a day. 24 minus 30 is what? 11, right? So you eat maybe 2 of those hours, so you have 9 hours. Now I'm using time as an example. If I was told that from a young age I'll have 9 hours spare from the age of 18 to the age of 59 when I start playing football, imagine what I could have done with my life with those 9 hours. Because it only takes an hour a day to really upskill yourself, isn't it?
I think the key there, Nathan, is if you think about growth,
Yeah.
the 2 hours a day they spend in football, that's their growth in football. But what else do you want to grow? So if you're serious about business after football or you want to be educated, you would study. So growth is about putting in the effort every day. It's about growing in different areas, not just the football aspect, the character, doing extra in the gym, doing those types of things to make you a better person at the end of the day.
Exactly. That speaks to the dual dream. That speaks to the holistic growth. I like to use the term global. Ian and I said, I think a year or two ago, we were trying to find a better word for the word holistic because, to be honest, I don't know how you feel about it, but I felt that everyone uses the word holistic. So it's kind of, lost its power because everybody uses the word. So I prefer to use the word global because when we talk about football, wouldn't we want to ensure that our players become globally attractive?
Yeah.
That's why I use the word, because if we show players how to enhance themselves from a global viewpoint, both on the field and off the field, it makes that boy from an local ball appealing to the global market, not just the local, because he understands what the world asks of him, not the world in also the fact of Europe maybe, but the world outside of the field. Yeah. So global is what we coined.
Also from personal experience, I'm a coach, so I want to talk also on behalf of coaches. You know, they can also learn from my experiences. And for me, it was also I went into football, and then, I wanted to be a coach, and it was about football and what can I teach the kids to be better technically and make better decisions on the field. But you went through a period where you gain such a lot of knowledge and experience, and you help them a long way to become a better footballer. But you miss the most important part. How you can impact a kid's life and how you can make him a better person, and how you can get parents involved to help assist the player, and how can you give that kid the best support to reach his goal. And I only figured that out way down the line. And even now in Egypt, with my experiences there, I've learned such a lot from myself, and how I had to deal with situations and how I grew in the 20 years. Um, you never stop being challenged. There's always something new that gets thrown at you, and that's a test. That's a test of character.
Yep.
And if you build good character from a foundational aspect, you can handle these situations.
Perfect, perfect. That leads me to ask you guys. So I hear a lot about character and identity, which obviously leads me to know and understand. You have to have a value system for yourself, right? Because when you are serving players, when you are serving clients, you are serving them first of all from your being, right? It speaks to the value which you have for yourself. And like you just spoke about, there are many challenges which you're facing in all sorts of spaces, and that will actually test your core values. So, what are the values that has helped each of you, in your sphere? Be who you are first of all as a man, and then as a coach, and then as an advisor. Anyone?
Okay, I'll go first. So yeah, it's ultimately about when you working on yourself. What the most challenging thing is to get people that will take you to the next level. So it's surrounding yourself with the right people, and that's how you're going to grow. I believe that, like I said, the environment is key. It can be a negative environment where people tell you you can't be this, you can't do that, you'll never become anything, and it's because of where you come from, and that's completely wrong. If you surround yourself with people that is doing right and wanting to give back, and willing to invest, and there's always people that, I mean, I've never met a CEO that says no. You might not have the time right now, but you always say speak to my assistant and they'll make time for you. But it's that, just that, even that confidence to ask, can I have a few minutes of your time, you know
So I hear, sorry, no, no, that. So I hear the value of belief in yourself first, because it takes that. It takes the confidence in yourself to have conversation. Because how many of us want something from someone, but we are too scared to ask? 100%. And this is what I've learned. The answer can either be yes or the answer can be no.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So you go on.
Yeah, no, and that's it. Something small. Actually today, my son got this booklet to. So he comes to me and says, "Daddy, booklet is worth 200 rand. Can you give me 200 rand?" I said, "Oh no. You're going down the streets, knock on the door because you're very shy. Build confidence to ask people. If you don't get it right, I will assist you. You know." And guess what? It took him literally about 20 minutes. He came back, half of the booklet was sold. But that's how it starts. It's about, giving them that, just giving them just like to encourage them. Where that's to build that confidence, because I believe it's not only the coaches, it's the parents as well. Where sometimes the parents, we feed our kids and they don't ever get that confidence to become confident. So, yeah.
Good. Nice one.
Yeah. My value system, when I first started coaching, started out with a lot of passion, a lot of energy. Because I think you need that if you want to become a coach, because it's infectious. People like passion and energy, and then certainly hard work, a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, determination, and a lot of perseverance, because the industry is very, very difficult. And that helped me grow as a coach, because I had this desire and hunger to become a better coach. There was a willingness to learn. There was a very open mind. And I wanted to experience a lot of things. And this year, although it's 1 year in Egypt, I probably learned the biggest value, and that is, well, two, is you spoke about belief. Because I became a better coach, I believe in my ability. I believe that I could make a difference. I believe that I could serve people in a better way. But belief wasn't enough. With all the challenges I had this year, a lot sometimes is out of your control. As much knowledge and experience as you have, there are things that you just cannot control. And that's the hardest part, because sometimes belief can be a bad thing, because you believe in yourself and you can change it. And I've got news for you. You can't. I went to a country where there's a different culture, there's a different belief system, and things are indoctrinated over years, and you cannot change it. And this year has been a big test for me from a faith perspective, because there were times where I'd walk 15 minutes to work, and I would just pray, and I would say, Lord, I can't do this. You're going to have to work your magic. And he worked his magic, because I couldn't do it, Nathan. With all the belief and all the experience and all the knowledge, I know that.
But that's a powerful coach, because like Coach Grant was saying, when we talk about identity, guys, a lot of what is spoken out in the world is about, who are you? That is all you hear when people say identity. But what people don't understand is that when you want to answer the question around identity, there's two parts to it. It's who are you and whose are you. That is the key. You both spoke about it. We must understand that, yes, when you believe in yourself, that is good. But you need to understand, you never made yourself. You never made yourself. So this is where you made you.
There's two negatives that can come from it: pride and ego.
Yep.
And that can send you. And I've had lots of moments where that would be the problem. Right. And you think you're successful, and you've done most wonderful. People think it's all glamorous, and you won trophies and you develop players, but at the end of the day, it's not as fulfilling as growing. It's not as fulfilling as serving and helping people. I think that's.
And to go on that, it's also understanding that everything that we do in our sports, our life, and I shared this in a session 4 and 5. Everything is an expression of our faith. Everything, because you don't know what's going to happen in the next hour. Coach, you didn't know that the team was going to win the league. When I was playing football, when I took the shot towards goal, I didn't know if the ball was going to end up in the top corner. I had a feeling, I had a hope, I had faith. So everything is an expression of your faith. And until we answer that question around identity, right? Who are you? Who am I? And whose am I? Then I will understand. When I feel hopeless and helpless, like you just shared, that's exactly where God wants you to be. Because He needs you to understand that, my man, you're not alone in this. I'm the one that put you on this earth.
It's taking you on a journey. It's a process.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had a lot of, I've had a lot of anger and frustration, because I think there's a serious lack of leadership in these organizations. It's still where I am. And in the biggest clubs, it's poor leadership. But you can't get frustrated, because it's a test. You can get frustrated, but the reaction is a negative reaction. And that's this year where my button was pushed. And I came to a point where I can't react like this, because it's not good for me.
It's not good for you and for those that you will serve.
Yeah, because I'm supposed to be a leader, and the way I react, I don't want them to react in the same way. So you've got to practice what you preach. So it's been a big forward step for me, I believe. Sometimes you just got to let it go. You just got to let it take its course, not let it affect you. You got to grow in those areas.
Right. Good guys. So we've spoken about the being part and the doing, which is in the actual field, in your sphere, like they have shared, in their field, where you will face many challenges, right? Hey guys, it's Nathan here. So I'm talking to all football players. I know that you know that you can provide much higher quality in your football, right? What if there's a way to increase that by 5x? Now, I've helped football players, both amateur and professional football, especially in South Africa, increase their value by 5x. How do you get them started? You simply click on the link below and let's get you going towards your next level. Yeah. And now, enjoy the rest of the video, guys. Cheers. So now we understand, in order for us to have, we need to be doing. In order for us to do, we have to be becoming the person, the man, the woman, the coach, the advisor that role is meant for. And that is your first part. You always start. Always. So how that looks for a player, a parent, or a coach is is different because we are each wonderfully and fearfully made. We each have our own skills. But until we understand that, until we understand our identity, who we are and whose we are, we're always struggling because we're always trying to compare ourselves with the next coach or the next player or the next parent. Now, I can share an example with Ian and I've been on a journey with the two of them. Ian and myself are in the same field. Now, people think I'm a coach, Ian's a coach. But never once have I compared myself with Ian. Because I understand that God has given me my skills and as coach. But until I understood that, it would have always had me looking to my left, looking at Ian. Okay, what's Ian doing? I can do it too. No, we each have our own lane, and first of all, we need to understand that. Yeah, we need to understand what God has given us. What is our skill set? What is our purpose? Our identity? Who we are, whose we are, and build off of that. So Ian and Grant, just some tackle from you as a coach and from you for player, parent, and a coach. Because I know that it sounds easy to tell people you must become the person, you must do this. But I know there's parents and there's players and there's you know coaches out there that don't know where to start, what to think. Yeah, if you can just give them some advice.
It starts with you. So you need to understand you. You need to look at yourself. And if you're a footballer, you've got to look at your strengths, your gifts that you've been given. Because it's your strengths that's going to make you a better player. It's the strength that's going to make you a top player. It's the gifts that you've been given that's going to allow you to make a difference. Um, I always believe people talk about uh, being goal orientated and being growth orientated. For me, um, growth orientated is more important because you can set goals and you can achieve those goals. Um, but it's not more fulfilling than growing and becoming a better person. Um, I think when you focus on growth, there's no finish line because it becomes more focused on maybe 5 things in the beginning, and you can master the 5 things. And it's the everyday essentials, it's the habits that you can master, and that's growth. And when you've mastered those 5 things, um, if you have an end line, then it's done. Then you finish growing. But you're not. Growth is lifelong. Uh, some of the most successful people today are in their 80s and 90s, they haven't retired, but they still want to grow. It's not about the money, it's not about the success. It's about the journey, the process, the growth that they experience. So for any young coach or any young player, I would say start with yourself, understand yourself, be honest with yourself. For the parents, the kids, they need the support. They need a support system around them because there's not much good parenting going on. And mentors. I don't care how young they are. Surround themselves around mentors. Surround themselves around people who are going to speak positive things into their life, that are going to encourage them and give them the right advice. And tell them the things that sometimes they don't want to. I've been told I've surrounded myself around some very honest mentors and things that I don't like to hear. But I want to hear it because I want to be better. And it's hard. But yeah, there's there's a serious lack of this for our kids and even coaches. Um, yeah, I think it's good.
Awesome. Ron?
Yeah, no, coach said a lot, and again, identify with a lot he said. It's about, like I said, I believe that you should never stop learning as a parent and as a kid. I think a lot of our kids mirrors their parents and how they react to a situation. I think that is the biggest challenge. So if the parents' response to life is a certain way, they're going to mirror that. And the only way to change that is by, again, the parent needs to be confident, not the child, but the parent needs to be confident to go and ask help. And sort of nudge the kid in a certain direction. Because I think there's a lack of that where mentorships, and there is plenty of mentorships if you just ask for help. That's my belief. And it can be financial, it can just be someone to talk to. It can just be someone to talk to. And that is, I think, the secret of my success is at 18 years old, I think they've met one of our mentors. And it was a spiritual mentor where it was being involved with the wrong friends. And the first thing he said was, you need to change your circle. Well, the hardest thing I've done, but it was the right thing. And that is it where sometimes, whether your kids are not involved in you, they must go to you, force them to go to you. It cannot only be football. But it's changing that environment. That's the key. And again, if you need it, if the parent that is here needs assistance, like I said, I'm happy to respond to any call.
Awesome stuff. Ian, Grant, thanks a lot, guys, for being here, guys. There you heard it, right? It's the be, the do, and the have starts with your identity and starts with you understanding that we are not on this earth for ourselves. We are on this earth to serve value to each other. So whichever space or sphere you find yourself as a player, a parent, and coach, understand your identity, who you are, whose you are, and understand that you are there to serve value not only to your own life, but to the life of others that you love and that you serve. As always, guys, like, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to session number 7. Who knows, you might be on the seat next to me over here. Okay? Cheers, guys. Goodbye. Yeah.